What's up, everybody? Let's rock some old punk, some old rock and roll. Let's start with my New York Dolls second album, In Too Much Too Soon, from 1974. Who I feel, besides Johnny Thunders and the Heartbreakers, are responsible for punk rock breaking out truly. I don't have their first album on vinyl, but this is their second album. And then I also have the Mercer Street Sessions from 1972. And then Bill Mercer, who Jerry Nolan replaced, he died in the early days. Like Jerry Nolan's on the first Dolls album. Like he was just the early days of the New York Dolls. But this album's really good. I've had it for a really long time. It got released in 2005, so I've had this for 15 years. It's pretty awesome. Alright, so Johnny Thunders and Jerry Nolan. This is Johnny Thunders. This is Jerry Nolan. They left the New York Dolls, and this is Johnny Thunders and Jerry Nolan and the Heartbreakers. And they left the New York Dolls the same day that Richard Hell left television. So the first, Johnny Thunders and the Heartbreakers album was gonna be Richard Hell and Johnny Thunders and Jerry Nolan on it. But he was so opinionated on what the Heartbreakers should be doing, Johnny Thunders basically had to get rid of Richard Hell. And it's the same day that the Dolls left. This is Johnny Thunders and the Chesterfield Kings, Japanese import that I got a long time ago in Cincinnati too. It's really cool. But yeah, basically Johnny Thunders and Jerry Nolan leave the Dolls, and Richard Hell leaves television the same day. So yeah, there was about to be a super band with Richard Hell and the Heartbreakers, which it's fine that he didn't work out, but it's just interesting. And then he went and started Richard Hell and the Voidoids. Alright, so here is I already showed you guys this, right? Or no? Yeah. But yeah, this Heartbreakers vinyl was made in England. When they went over to England in '76 to record this album, they toured with the Sex Pistols. I think it was Sex Pistols, Heartbreakers, Ramones, and the Heartbreakers actually recorded that album in England while they were there. Alright, so we're going to do some other punk rock that I've got from England in the punk explosion era. We got some Exploited, The Jam, The Vibrators. So here's my Addicts vinyl, Smart Alex. And if you don't know who the Addicts are, check them out. They're one of the best old punk acts. And the best song on here is Bad Boy, which is the first song on the B-side. Really good stuff. But yeah, you should check out any Addicts videos that are on YouTube also. Alright, so Billy Idol's first band. Billy Idol was in a punk band before he busted out his solo Generation X. This is their second album, Valley of the Dolls, from '79. And they're signed to Chrysalis. And it appears that Billy Idol, even after the Generation X era, it appears that he stayed with Chrysalis for all his solo stuff. And then here's just one of the bands from the punk explosion in '77, The Vibrators. Pretty good album. And so a lot of people know Paul Weller, who is in the middle. People know Paul Weller without knowing who the Jam is. So, Paul Weller would be the guy on All the Way Left. My bad. So there's Paul Weller, who was originally in the Jam. He does solo stuff post the Jam. And this is from the Punk Explosion, 1977. 1977 Polydor. It's a really good album. Alright, so now the Exploited. The Exploited are I don't know, I guess you could say they're the first Crass is like the first anarcho band. I would say that the Exploited are like the first hardcore punk band, I guess. I mean, they're pretty awesome. And this is a live album. It's pretty awesome. It's clear. Really cool. And you gotta love the pink and the black on any punk album. So yeah, I love some old punk. I'm gonna do a Sex Pistols and Clash video separately because I have so many Sex Pistols and Clash. But yeah, I just thought it was really awesome that the Heartbreakers were formed in May of '75. Like I said, going back to LAMF. All right. So in May of '75, after Thunders and Nolan leave the Dolls, after they kick Richard Hell out, they're rocking, getting momentum going. And people want to credit the Ramones for being like the front runners of the punk explosion. But if you actually look, the Ramones were formed in '74, but they had limited commercial success at first. So that means if the Heartbreakers were red hot and they had more momentum than the Ramones, they actually credit the Heartbreakers being the, spearheading the first wave of punk. So if anything, the Ramones sweated the Heartbreakers a little bit, and, everybody just kind of helped each other. Like when the Heartbreakers and Ramones, when they traveled from New York to England to record and to be with the Pistols and be with the Clash, everybody's just helping inspire each other, just like these days. And it's very interesting and very cool. So I'm going to do my Sex Pistols and Clash video, and here is Dolls, Heartbreakers, Exploited Addicts, and Rock and Roll Guys. Check any of these bands out. They're all good.